Avoiding meat won't reduce your carbon footprint. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.Heise here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee and let's have a look at this article discussing, well, your carbon footprint won't be reduced by cutting meat out of your diet. Now, this doesn't surprise me at all. I've done a video, and I'll refer to it at the end, where if you go like full vegan, like super duper hardcore vegan, that means you don't even use the LCD screens because there's animal products in them that we're all looking at now. The benefit of that in reduced carbon impact is worth, well, let me know in the comments, guys. I'm gonna have a shot of coffee. Let me know how much you think it's worth. Okay? And I'll give you a hint. You know, it's under $100 per year. $5 worth of carbon credits, guys. $5. 5 7-Eleven coffees. That's what it's worth. All that pain, hassle, nutritional deficiencies, and issues. $5. From an environmental perspective, it's completely pointless. Okay, so that's one argument that people are making for this lifestyle, to cut out meat. And meat is healthy. It's good for you. All the fake news saying it's bad for you, it's all bullshit, guys. And I'm not just saying that because I'm an advocate of the carnivore diet. You know, kind of humans, you know, we ate meat before we farmed, everyone. You need to look at history a little bit. So, a new paper by New Zealand and English scientists conclude that going meatless will only have a small impact on a person's overall lifetime carbon footprint. I actually argue that, the increased health consequences of going meatless, the nutritional deficiencies, the extra dental visits, broken bones, will have a bigger impact and, a greater impact on your demand for health services, particularly in socialist countries like Australia. So you have a bigger carbon footprint, everyone. But I don't think they've looked into it that way. That's just anecdotally from all the people I know who are cutting out animal products and who are having extra dentist visits, who are having to, broken bones and those type of things, which, I haven't had a filling since I was 8. So the paper published by the Swiss-based Sustainability Journal, written by researchers at Auckland, Massey, Victoria, and Oxford Universities, in the New Zealand Agricultural Greenhouse Gas Research Centre and the Minister for Primary Industries. It was found that giving up meat would only reduce the average person's lifetime contribution to global warming by 2% to 4%. That was because long-term, the benefits in not eating meat were largely offset by the carbon dioxide created to produce alternative foods and the relatively short life of methane, farming's key greenhouse gas. MPI funded the report, but a ministry spokeswoman said the study was not necessarily reflective of the government's position on climate change, which is to get farmers to calculate and ultimately reduce their emissions. See, this is the concern. The scare here is that they're worried about methane, and they're going to have to kill the herd. They're going to have to just kill cows, everyone. Then they want you all to eat this pea protein fake meat crap. Now that I think is a greater concern to humanity than anything else we're facing. People are talking about government tyranny, this, and this. If they're forcing you to eat some pea garbage that destroys your health, yeah. The ministry scientists needed to be involved in a wide range of research across the primary sector, including studies into emission reduction and sustainability, she said. However, like many research papers, this should not be considered reflective of the position of the Ministry of Primary Industries, nor does the ministry hold any particular viewpoint on it. Stuff has approached Primary Industries Minister Damien O'Connor for comment. Meat industry group Beef Plus Lamb welcomed the paper, but one academic argued it relied greatly on the choice of metric used. Well, of course it relies greatly on the choice of metric used. It's all this predictive impact on the environment. If you haven't done any of this modeling stuff, you don't realize how bullshit it is, how easy it is to manipulate. That's the danger of all of this stuff. So, One of the report's authors, David Frame, a director of Victoria University's School of Geography, Environment and Earth Sciences, said fighting climate change was becoming a more nuanced debate. As people get serious about mitigating climate change, a lot of the issues that haven't mattered when you have weak price signals start to matter a lot when you start to talk about what we actually have to do to stop warming. I think in the future, what you're going to need to do to think about the temporary environmental impacts of products and permanent impact of products. Okay. Professor Frame said the same scrutiny could be applied to the aviation sector, except then it wouldn't be vegetarians complaining. It would be people who stay at home, and people who travel would be on the defensive. What the hell is he talking about? See, here's the thing: they've completely ignored the health impact, which isn't part of it. Okay, and if you don't believe me, just look up all the vegans who are vegan detox teeth loss. Type that into YouTube, everyone, and look that up. That's a thing. That is a thing. Okay, this isn't healthy. And if you think the bioavailability of the nutrients you get in plant products is the same as meats and animal products, you're just wrong. Honestly, it's not the same. Okay, all those pills that people are popping to supplements, some of them cancel each other out. It's all complete garbage, a lot of it. It's woo-woo. However, Associate Professor Alex McMillan, a climate change expert at Otago University, said the paper had used a relatively new metric, GWP, which suited those from methane-producing sectors. The International Panel on Climate Change had found that regardless of which metric was used, the world still needed to significantly cut methane to stay within its global warming limit of less than 1.5 degrees, she said. The short-term gases give us a real chance of stabilizing the climate faster. So we know taking action on climate change now for gases like carbon dioxide and nitrous oxide, even if we stop emitting them now, is going to take a longer time for that to help with climate stabilization, whereas reducing our methane emissions now gives us an immediate beneficial effect. Reducing meat consumption is going to be a big part of that. That scares me more than anything. Here's the thing. You've got people, climate change advocates and people who are concerned about it. You people who actually think the world is coming to an end. This is a end times prophecy here. We're seeing similar to religious movements, similar to cults at the turn of the century before last. They thought that it was the second coming, and you had people all were planning for the world coming to an end. You've got all these nutcases who think that they need to make sacrifices. I mean, here's the thing. Avoiding meat, it's what they do in a lot of cults. It's what they do to weaken your mental capacity. They'll feed you gruel and all this veggie mash while the cult leaders will eat proper food because it weakens you and it makes you stupid and more malleable. This is just the same thing on a global scale, everyone. I'll put my tinfoil hat on there. I can see it because I eat meat. There you go. See, my thinking hasn't been affected. So if you're all going, oh, Florian, you're talking crap, but you just eat lettuce every day, well, you're not thinking right. Don't get me wrong, guys. I'm not worried about climate change. I'm supremely confident a slow-moving disaster like that, humanity will find a solution in the next 50 to 100 years. Honestly. And what we're doing now will appear like a medieval doctor applying leeches to cure, impotence or something. Completely stupid. Another author of the report, nutritional scientist Dr. Nick Smith, said the more conventional GWP 100 measure was used in the study, as well as the new metric, but researchers still found that the environmental benefits of going meatless was in the single digits. There you go. Dr. Smith, who is from Massey University's Ridden Institute, said his contribution focused on the implications of dietary change. That's obviously a very important point. If you consider changing your diet, you have to be aware of the nutritional implications of the change. The World Cancer Research Fund recommends eating no more than 3 red meal servings a week. That's equivalent to 350 and 500 grams cooked. Yeah, well, I have that in a day, everyone. And this is the thing. This research is out of date. Research fund, by the way. A spokesman for Climate Change Minister James Shaw said that the party would consider the findings of the paper as part of the work we do on the emission reduction plan, set to be released later this year. Sam McIver, Beef Plus Lamb New Zealand's chief executive, said his group had been advocating for the use of the newer GWP metric for greenhouse gases for some time. A lot of research measuring carbon footprints at present are based on GWP 100, which isn't as good a measure at measuring methane's impacts. But he said farmers acknowledge that everyone has a role to play in addressing climate change, and we're actively involved in the He-Wak Ika now. Okay. There's a 5-year plan. Oh, boy, this sounds so bloody communist, doesn't it? To help farmers towards counting their emissions and developing an emission pricing mechanism by 2025. So they're going to make more meat more expensive. They're going to make meat more expensive. Everyone. So, this whole anti-meat movement that's growing in popularity is dangerous. It's going to impact people's health. You'll get vegans say, oh, so many people eat meat. Well, no. The majority of US diet, the standard American or standard Australian diet, is carbohydrate-based. Just look at it. Look at how much they eat. You know, people will eat a whole bunch of processed seeds, oils, sugars, grains, with a tiny bit of meat, and then they'll blame the meat for why you're getting diabetes surging, why people are becoming insulin resistant, why Alzheimer's is increasing, while people are getting morbidly obese and dying. So it's just ludicrous, everyone. I'm going to point you to this video here, which is about our keto journey, how we started down this path, some of the research lectures that we watched. I'd highly recommend you check it out, guys. And this one will piss off all the vegans. It always does. And particularly if they think they're doing something good. And really, they're not. Take care.